Hey guys, what's up? We are back with some more reactions after dark, and we are, of course, going to be watching Missing Boy discovered after 8 years. Turns out his family was holding him captive this whole time by Rotten Mango. Now, I've seen this one show up on like my timeline a few times, so I figured I would just get around to it now. Plus, it's short; it's only an hour and 10. Because of course, like 2 hour long ones are pretty rough, and I kind of just don't want to be doing anything too long uh, right now. So maybe in a couple days we'll do something longer, or we'll go back to the Chinaverse. We'll have to see. I'm still like wondering if I should be doing Chinaverse live again, if we should just always do it live, or if I should do these videos live every day instead of just recording them and then uploading them. I was thinking about doing a poll, but I didn't. Maybe I should do a poll, see what everyone has to say, because I don't know if everyone's going to just comment on this video. I doubt anyone's going to comment on that, but yeah, I'm still like wondering if I should just do these things live. We'll have to see.
Bada bing, bada boo.
Rosa was a woman in her 80s. Her husband had passed away recently, and she had 6 kids. Six.
Okay. Really old lady, a lot of children.
Full-grown adult kids with children of their own, and they all love spending time with her. It's like one big happy family. So they would come over on the weekends, they would bring her food, bring her new shoes, they would brush her hair out for her. Literally whatever Grandma Rosa wanted, they would do it for her. But sometimes Rosa would forget which one is which, or maybe she would forget which one was married, or maybe on that particular day, she would be convinced that her husband actually never died. Rosa has dementia. And if anyone had a family member who had dementia, it's hard. My grandmother on my mom's side had it, and there were so many times where my grandma would mistake me as my mom. She would talk to me as if I was the younger version of my mom. Or sometimes my dad would pick her up, and this is her son-in-law. And instead of remembering him as her son-in-law, she would instead treat him like a nice, friendly taxi driver that would take her out to lunch. There was a point where she even tried to pay him for his driving services. Some days were better than others for Rosa, and her family kind of knew that. But recently it seemed like things had gotten, like, so much worse.
So where's this going to go? Because we're starting off with talking about this elderly woman suffering from dementia. And the title of this is 8-year-old boy, traps, or holding him, being held captive for 8 years, I'm assuming. So, was it the grandma? How would the grandma even, like, pull that off if she has dementia? Like, she would forget that she's, like, kidnapped him, right? So where the heck is this gonna go? They just hold him captive to, like, to help the grandma? I mean, we're only a minute in, but I'm just already like trying to speculate where this is gonna go.
Rosa would point at the door at the end of the hallway, and she would just point and stare. Rudy is there. Rudy is in that room. Rudy is here. Her children, who are now adults with children of their own, they would all kind of glance at each other, and then one of them would finally crouch down to be eye level with Rosa. And they would say things like, "Mom, it's okay. You're probably just tired. Rudy's not in there."
Okay. Okay, what's going on? Does she know that this kid's in there? But everyone else, does everybody know? And she just keeps figuring out, like, oh no, he's not in there. But like the family is in on it, and the grandma keeps figuring out, but they don't want her to know, like, or like what the heck's going on?
And she would continue pointing. Rudy's in there. Rudy's in that room.
Like, does the family know that this kid is missing?
And they would
If
sigh.
If he is missing at this point.
And they would let it go again. They all knew who she was talking about. Rudy Farias was a boy who had gone missing in
Houston, Texas. I don't know about this story. Despite being in Texas, I don't think I've heard of this before.
Houston 5 years ago. But their mom had dementia. There's no way that Rudy Farias was in that room at the end of the hallway. There's no way. 3 years after Rosa passed away, Rudy was found alive.
I was gonna say, like, I'm pretty sure he's alive just because the title says held captive, not like his corpse was there. So after the grandma has passed, probably from dementia, they finally found him. How was he just living there? Like, who was taking care of him?
He had been living in that locked room at the end of the hallway for the past 8 years. He had been held captive, not by Rosa, but by somebody else.
Okay, so not her. It makes sense because like she would just not be there enough to know, like to keep that going. Like she would forget that has him held in there, right? And that was obviously supposed to be like the mic drop. So here comes the intro. I feel like it's been forever since we've seen this intro because like what we did, Chinaverse, and then well it would have been like the in between episode that I usually do from someone else, then the Stephanie Sue Chinaverse stuff, then Dark Asia yesterday, and now we're finally back to Rotten Mingo.
Show notes are available at rottenmingopodcast.com, and this case has been highly requested, and it just happened in June of this year, so like not even a month ago. It was like end of June, and well, really in July is when everything started unraveling, so just a week or two ago. There is a chance that there's going to be more updates that's going to come out, but I personally don't think so.
I don't know if there was or not. I didn't see any videos she posted otherwise.
I mean, it's pretty
Like this is the only video she did on this.
radio silent on this case after the initial media frenzy. So from the way things are looking right now, it seems like the captor is going to face absolutely no charges and or punishments for their crimes.
Okay, spoilers. Hello, what?
What?
Yeah. This is a wild one.
Well, we still don't know who, because she's just using captor and undescriptive words, but still, spoilers on them not being punished, which doesn't make any sense. I feel like they should be. You can make some sort of argument that if they're your child, sure, whatever, you can do whatever you want with them, but they need to go to school, and that is a crime. I don't know if it's a federal offense to not force. Let's use the word force your child to go to school. But of course, we could just look it up. So let me look it up. Okay, I don't think it's a federal crime. It could just be a basic crime, state crime. It's not like federal level or anything, but still, they should still be facing 8 years of, let's call it school evasion, by keeping their kid out of school for 8 years.
Every part of this case feels stranger than fiction, feels stranger than a book. So let's get into the mysterious disappearance of Rudy Farias. How much do you really know about your neighbors? You know? And I know it's giving like, how do you know your neighbor's not a serial killer? How do you know? Like, how do you know it's not happy father by day, Gilgo Beach killer by night? But what if that annoying neighbor down the street that makes you want to roll your eyes, you just don't like her? What if you found out that 8 years ago, she went through the most traumatic thing a mother could ever experience? Would that make you more sympathetic? Like, would that make you want to be nicer to her?
What? Losing your child? Is this close to that disease about where typically, I've only ever heard it used with women, but it's probably for men too. It goes both ways. Let's just assume it doesn't really matter. Like, obviously, I mean, it's not really a disease. It's like a mental disorder where you make your child sick to gain sympathy for yourself. It has some sort of weird name. It sounds like she might even mentioned it in like one of these videos before. It's like someone's name. It sounds like, but like you literally make your child sick to gain sympathy for having a sick child. Is it similar to that, where we're seeing the mom's doing? If we're just saying that now, like 4 minutes into the video, that the mom locked her child away to gain sympathy for having a missing child, and then you just get points for that or whatever. And of course, the grandma knew, but because she had dementia, she couldn't fully make people understand that he was in there, right?
Most of the neighbors had no idea about what had happened to Janny. I mean, it had been 8 years. But a few, like a very select few number of neighbors, had been around town, had been in Houston for a long time, and they would remember the stories of like back in the day. They were good about never bringing it up. I mean, why bring up a painful past, right? Wait, I want to know what happened. What happened? 8 years ago, Janny, the lady's son, Rudy Farias, went missing. He was 17 years old. It was March 6, 2015.
He was 17. What? Does that look like a 17-year-old to you? That looks like a baby.
Went missing. He was 17 years old.
Yeah, like, what? That's 17? Unless that's just a younger photo of
It was
him.
March 6, 2015. Oh, was he like kidnapped? I'm not sure, but apparently he went to walk the family's 2 dogs one night after dinner. And one by one, the dogs showed up at the front door with their leash dangling behind them. But he never came back. Rudy was gone, and he hasn't been seen alive since.
So that's the picture they used, I guess.
But you know, Janie's never stopped looking for him, that poor woman. Oh my God. Are there any leads? Did anyone see anything? I mean, nothing's for certain, but Janie seems to think that Rudy has been human trafficked. Other people think that maybe it has something to do with his biological dad.
How old was Rudy?
17. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
His biological dad was a police officer, and he died. But it's just a sad story all around, you know. Rudy's brother passed away before he went missing, and the family...
What is going on here? Dad's dead. Brother's dead. Son's missing. Has this woman... Assuming we're blaming the mother here. Has this woman killed her husband, killed her other child, and now... kidnapped, if you can even say that, her own child? For just constant brownie points? Oppression point? Is oppression points the right word? Not oppression points. What's the good word? That's specifically not even, that's not the right word. I've heard it used before. Yeah, I just stood there like, I just sat here thinking about like what I was trying to think of. I just cannot think of like a good descriptor. Even though I know I have like a decent one there somewhere, I just can't remember. But yeah, let's try to get brownie points for being, like for having all these bad things happen to you. But like, is it worth it? I'm assuming she didn't kill her husband and her other child. But still, like assuming I heard that correctly.
His biological dad was a police officer, and he died.
That he's dead?
But it's just a sad story all around, you know. Rudy's brother passed away before he went missing, and the...
Yeah, Rudy's brother. Rudy is the child, so somehow dad's dead. Somehow his brother is dead. And then he's gone missing right after his brothers died. Like, and I'm not supposed to suspect that all those 3 things are connected, not connected.
The family was already grieving, and then Rudy's biological dad was, fired, and then he took his own life from the police force.
What is all this? These stories, are a lot of this stuff just made up? Like, is this just like chit chat?
It's just, I don't know, I just feel bad for Janie. And I'm sure anyone who heard of Janie's story was probably thinking the same thing. 8 years? There is no way they're gonna find Rudy now.
It feels so fabricated. She said this is stranger than fiction, but yeah. He self-exits because he got fired from work. Okay. And the brother just happened to die too. We don't know how that happens. The story's already crazy.
But I suppose Janie was a fighter. She's constantly on true crime forums to try and keep Rudy's name and case alive. She posted about how she was absolutely certain that this was a case of human trafficking. Those evil monsters are the ones that took her son. A lot of conversations were getting stirred up about the general safety in Houston, Texas. And Janie was fed up that the police weren't doing anything about it, nor were they doing anything about her missing baby that had been gone for years. And she hinted maybe the reason why the police are being so nonchalant about this case, about my son being missing, is because there's some powerful human traffickers involved that have.
How do they never? I mean, like, why would you check her own house for her own child? But like, I feel like they would just try in case like she's a suspect, because it's always like the people closest to whoever they're looking for, right? But like, the police just never looked into her house or this house, wherever this is at, grandma's house.
Have connections with the police. Janie started hinting that even her own life was in danger. Strange things have been happening ever since Rudy vanished and ever since she started being vocal about this human trafficking thing. Another thing that added to this perception was that Rudy's uncle, Uncle Jerry, he spoke on the 2-year anniversary of Rudy's disappearance. He gave a speech on National Missing Persons Day. And
Okay, another suspect. Maybe it's this guy instead. I looked up the quote-unquote mental illness that I was talking about. It's called Munchausen syndrome, something like that.
And he talked about how kind-hearted Rudy was and how much he cared for those around him and how heartbroken Rudy's mom, Janie, was since he's been gone, you know? And the pain of like not knowing where your loved one is or how they're doing or if they're okay, that's probably the worst. There's no closure. Rudy's Uncle Jerry never mentioned that he knew what happened to Rudy. He never mentioned anything suspicious or sinister that had happened.
Okay, so we're saying he did it?
But the owner of a local Facebook page that the family would constantly interact with, it's called Houston's Voice for the Missing.
It also says family in the title, so maybe it's not the mom. I don't know. It's just crazy. Well, she said captive. The person who kept him captive, like almost like a singular person. So I'm just like trying to think about this way too hard.
They came out and they stated that Uncle Jerry had been working nonstop to find his nephew Rudy. And recently, after this speech was given, like 2 years after Rudy had disappeared, Jerry called the owner of that Facebook page and told him that he had new breaking information on Rudy's case.
Why?
They were supposed to meet in a week. Uncle Jerry ended up dying from a motorcycle accident before that.
What are you talking about? Huh? What is going on? We got some witchcraft going on here? Because this is all this seems at this point. Like, throw reality out of the window and say, like, witchcraft is in play here, causing all these accidents and deaths. Or something. Because, like, what? Dad's self-deleted. Brother, we don't know what happened to him. He died somehow. Uncle, he's dead now. And eventually, grandma's gonna die too. Like, who? There's nobody left but the mom. Like, everybody around this family is dead.
The owner of the Facebook page never found out what Jerry wanted to say or what he knew. It just all seems so suspicious, doesn't it?
I'm guessing this is fake. Come on, hit me with it. It was just a story. Because she's done this before, I think, where she tells you a story that's like ludicrous, and then she's like, well, it's because it was actually this movie or book or show. And then she goes into like the real story.
Wow.
So the initial thought from not only Janie, but from most people in the community was that Rudy had been human trafficked, and maybe the police had no interest in finding him because they didn't want to piss off these powerful traffickers. And then maybe the Uncle Jerry, might have found out something that he shouldn't have, and now they're in danger.
Unless, again, he's still alive and this is just all a part of the play that they're putting on. And he's just in hiding. As well, possibly even the other brother or the dad are all in hiding too. None of these people are dead. And it's just part of this ruse that is being told to this community for some reason.
Janie even brought up serial killers. She posted on forums about the Candyman, serial killer Dean Corll. I did a deep dive on Dean Corll a few years back. I might refilm the visuals for that one if you guys are interested. It is one of those cases that throughout the years has continued to stick with me. Like, I will randomly be staring at a wall and I will think about that case. It's just very demented. He essayed and murdered almost 30 young boys in Houston, Texas in the 70s. And Janie was now posting about Dean Corll and saying things like, you know, Houston police say it doesn't happen to young boys. This is nothing new. Even back in the 70s, Houston police failed to investigate the many missing persons reports filed by various parents of these boys, and the police just viewed them as runaway cases like they're doing to my Rudy. Many of these boys came from the same area or the same neighborhoods, and even after all of that happened in the 70s with this serial killer, our children are still being listed as runaways. I'm just so disappointed in the way that the Houston police handles missing children's cases, and I think something needs to change.
Again, if she's in on it, like, what is she trying to prove here, other than like the Munchausen thing that I was talking about, where she's just doing this to gain sympathy?
And after Janie would post on these forums, there would be like this newfound interest in Rudy's case. But every single time, it would just fizzle out due to the sheer lack of evidence or even clues. But the community would randomly come together. They would make shirts with Rudy's pictures on them. They would spread pictures online. But it seemed like nothing was happening, even with all this work that they were putting into this case. And then something happened. A miracle happened. June 29th of 2023.
Okay, 2023. This video was a year ago. I don't know if this was made in 2023 or 2024, because it won't tell you if a video is like what year it was made. So this could have been made in 2023. It just isn't quite 2 years ago yet.
Like a month ago, 10 p.m.
Okay, a month ago. So that means this video was in July. It's July now, so this video must just be right out of the reach of hitting to being 2 years old.
At night, a call was made to emergency services. 911, what's your emergency? Hello? Yeah, I'm here in front of the Immaculate Heart Church, and there's someone laying on the ground. Excuse me? Is this person conscious? Are they injured? Can you describe them for me? They seem not that conscious. I think they're injured, and it appears to be male, maybe in his 20s. Could you please send help? Help is on the way. Officers will be there shortly. The injured man in question was Rudy Farias, but the officers didn't know that.
He's like 25 now.
Rudy had gone missing 8 years ago. His face was forgotten in like the piles and piles of new cases that they had. Their department was consistently understaffed and underfunded. So when they arrive, it's not like this aha moment where an 8-year-old cold case had been solved finally, right? None of that. It's just an injured man. Rudy's starting to gain consciousness when the officers arrive, and he was nonverbal. He seemed really scared and disoriented. He refused to speak with the officers. He didn't have his ID or his wallet on him, though he did have something in his pocket that becomes evidence later, but we're gonna get there. The police were able to figure out his identity. They call his mom, Janie Santana, and they're like, come get your son. After 8 long years of searching, your son has been found.
Yeah, just out in the middle of nowhere.
She rushes to the scene and she's throwing herself onto the stretcher and she's screaming, that's my son, that's Rudy Farias, he's my son, he's been missing since 2015, this is him, this is my son.
And we're creating a scenario where, of course, all the constant talking about him being missing was not getting her anywhere. Again, if we're saying she did this, it wasn't getting her anywhere. It wasn't getting the attention that she wants. So now the only thing she can do is, okay, let's throw him out, have him be found, and then now we get to have a big reunion and get that attention instead. But again, I might just be overthinking this and it wasn't her. But again, who else could it be if all these other people were dead?
So it really was Rudy. I mean, his family had almost given up hope of even ever seeing him alive after 8 years of no news, no updates, nothing, no clues. But here he is. He still wouldn't talk to the police or anyone else for that matter. But still, at least he's home. His family would just have to wait and figure out what happened, how he was injured, where he...
What family? Again, assuming dad, uncle, grandma, brother are all dead, like what family?
he had been this whole time and how he ended up in the parking lot of a Catholic church that was 8 miles away from home. He had sores on his feet. He had cuts and bruises all over his body. He had blood in his hair. But those were all things that could heal. What couldn't heal are probably the memories of whatever happened in the past 8 years. Janny posted on Facebook thanking everyone in their search for Rudy over the years. And, she said, "Currently, we have no additional information on Rudy's case. My son Rudy is receiving the care that he needs to overcome this trauma, but at this time, he's nonverbal. He's unable to communicate with us. We're asking for privacy during this difficult time, but we will share more details as he continues to heal." She stated that every time that she tries to talk to Rudy, he would say a couple of words, freeze up, and then crawl up into a fetal position. She knew that it was going to be a long, tough journey for him, but she's so thankful that he's just home and found alive. She hinted at the fact that whoever did this to Rudy, whatever he had gone through, was so bad that he couldn't even speak, that he was becoming nonverbal because of it, through the trauma. She posted Rudy's original missing persons photo and a new picture of him laying down, sleeping in a hospital bed. You can't really see much of Rudy in the new picture. The white blanket of the hospital bed is pulled all the way up to his face and his body isn't that visible. But she mentioned that after 8 years of being missing, the one thing that stayed the same with Rudy was he was wearing his brother's necklace around his neck. He had worn this the day that his brother had passed, and the day that he went missing, he never let go of it in the 8 years he was missing. So the public, they obviously have questions after this news is released. It's very similar to the Carly Russell case.
No clue who that is. But again, I'm still did this woman do it? And how does this guy not know she did it? Does he know she did it or not? Obviously we're gonna get to it, but obviously I just want to know more.
Everyone's wondering.
There's still another hour, so we're probably gonna find out.
Okay, is there someone that we should be on the lookout for? Is there someone dangerous on the loose in this city? Is this gonna happen to us? No doubt, the police officers had questions of their own. When Rudy was found, remember how I said there was one thing in his pocket that would be later key evidence?
What could it possibly be? A note?
There was one thing. A credit card issued to Janie Santana, his mother.
Okay, credit card from his mom. How old is this credit card?
That was in his pocket.
Her current credit card or a credit card from 8 years ago?
And if you want to just bask in the happiness of this miracle coming together, maybe it's a detail that you could ignore. But the officers, they couldn't ignore it. One of them brought it up. Maybe we should call the bank. They called the bank and found out that credit card was issued 2 years ago. If Rudy had gone missing 8 years ago, how did he get his mom's credit card that was issued just 2 years ago?
That is crazy.
Yeah. And as they're trying to get answers for their questions, they start getting calls from those that were close to Janie and the family, Janie's neighbors primarily. And they told officers, hey, I saw all the news, because this is making headline news at this point, not internationally, but nationally, not just in the state of Texas.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of this, but that's just because I'm not necessarily paying attention to news that closely, just for here and there.
And they told officers, that boy that was found after 8 years, we're just a little bit confused because, we know the mom, we're the mom's neighbors, and I'm pretty sure I saw that boy a month ago at the house with his mom.
What?
Who do they think this guy is then?
Most of us didn't even know she had a son that was missing. We just found out. And that guy that I'm seeing on all these pictures is the son that she had in the house. I mean, wait, maybe she has another son. Are they twins? We just want to verify. We just want to make sure that everything is A-okay. But I'm pretty certain that missing kid is the kid that we've seen in the neighborhood. And his name wasn't Rudy. It was Dolph. Side
What, they actually was giving him a name?
note, Rudy's full name is Rudolph.
Okay, so
When he talk to us, he doesn't like say too much on who he really is. We just know that he lives down here with his mom. He goes to work with her like around
What? He's just out and about?
6 p.m. to like maybe 7 or 8 in the morning. And he just been freely walking down the streets.
The neighbors stated they believed Janie had one son, Dolph. He was a good kid. All the neighbors knew Dolph because he would always kind of roam around the street trying to hang out with them. Sometimes they would play like card games in the garage with Dolph. They really liked him. He was very sweet, very, very kind. But
Yeah, now I'm like so confused. If he's just out here walking around, how did they make this story up? I guess you just kept him kidnapped long enough to not be recognizable anymore.
But one thing that they constantly noticed about Dolph was that he seemed to just never really be in like a sober state of mind. He was harmless, don't get me wrong. He had a good heart, they knew that. But they said, when he talked, he didn't really talk too much. We just knew that he lived down the street with his mom. He went to work with her, and he would just kind of roam around the neighborhood. Another neighbor stated,
If he was like drugged up and out of it all the time, how did he ever continue to make it out, make it back home?
every time I saw him, he was always high. I mean, he was like never sober. He would talk about mushrooms and would smoke marijuana. I mean, you could tell that there was something off. When he came to my house and his mother called him, he didn't answer. Actually, to me, if I'm being honest, the mom always seemed a little bit weird. Like, I always avoided talking to the mom. Anytime they talked to Dolph or hung out with him, Janie, the mom, would come over and offer to take the neighbors out to dinner or give them like a little monetary gift for hanging out with her son.
I mean, monetary gifts? You mean like probably end up dead in a ditch somewhere? Like her husband and her other son and her uncle? Well, not her uncle, but the Rudy's uncle? Because she's the one who killed them?
So everyone just thought maybe the son really has no friends and the mom wants to encourage like him being social with the neighbors by rewarding the neighbors or something. Sometimes Janie would even text them looking for her son. She would text them things like, "Hey Rocky, can you give me a call back please? It's Dolph's mom. Thank you." But now neighbors are seeing on the news that Rudy, who had been missing for 8 years, was found, but they knew him as Dolph. That was Dolph, and they were not losing their minds, okay? Another very suspicious thing to note is that once Dolph became Rudy on the news again and came back home, Janie would visit each of the neighbors that had ever seen or ever talked to Dolph over the years and ask them to please don't talk to the media.
Like they're not going to? Like what's going to stop them? Like you can't stop them.
Oh my god, what is going on?
So if Dolph is Rudy and Rudy is Dolph, that means he has been living at his mother's house for the entire time that he has been, quote, missing. He was never missing. His mother knew where he was the entire time. So who in the world is his mom? Who does stuff like that? Because mind you, for the past 8 years that he's been, quote, missing, she's been on true crime forums, she's been talking to news stations, she's been having these rallies with the community. So let's get into Janie Santana.
Okay, so I'm guessing we're getting to the meat and bones now. I mean, if he was just walking around, I guess I can understand why they're not going to arrest her, question mark. Because it's not like he's really captive.
I mean,
But again, like all those other three, the other three guys being killed or dying or self-exiting, quote unquote, that's suspicious. Him being kidnapped, maybe we can let that slide, but the uncle, brother, and father needs to be looked into.
clearly something is very wrong with her, to put it very nicely. Do you guys remember Charles, the brother that passed away? So his dad was married to Janie. He said that when they first got married, he was so excited because he had a son from a previous marriage, Charles, and Janie was coming in with Rudy from a previous marriage, and they were going to be like this one big, happy, extended, blended family. But just 1 year into their marriage, he found out that she was already married to somebody else. Actually, married to like...
What? What do you mean? Can you... You can't get married if you're already married, right? What?
like 5 different men.
Okay, that's against the law, question mark.
At once?
Yeah, so it's not clear how many at once, but it could be potentially up to 5.
Isn't it against the law? Yeah, at least in the United States. Obviously, other places in the world, you get multiple wives and husbands. I think typically probably multiple wives, but I think sometimes you hear multiple husbands. Uh, but yeah, it's illegal here. I'm assuming it's illegal here because of like tax write-offs and nonsense like that. So it's like the government doesn't want you to have multiple spouses because of it affects them. So it's like, oh, you can't do that because it probably makes it too hard for us to do tax stuff. And you could probably get like too many tax write-offs for being married to too many people. So it's illegal. So it's actually probably like a disingenuous reason why being married to multiple people is illegal in the United States. Like it's probably only because of the fact that you get benefits for being married, and the government doesn't want you to have multiple benefits for being married. It's not like for any like religious or like moral reason. It's because they don't want you to have multiple avenues of benefits slash having to deal with the paperwork that comes with maybe getting divorced that many times or like just the money and whatnot. So like I guess it's just like a disingenuous reason why it's illegal. But yeah, it's illegal. So I don't know how she's pulling this off in America. Assuming well, it is in America because it's Texas. So how is she doing this?
Which is against the law, because, yeah, it's against the law.
Okay, well, she's saying it's against the law now, but yeah, it's literally illegal. So how?
You can't.
How is she not in jail for that? At least there's so many things. Again, possibly the death of those three men, the illegal polygamy, potential of drugging and keeping your son inside, lying about him being missing, because you could say that's obstruction of justice, question mark, because you're creating a scenario that's wasting police manpower slash taxpayer money looking for someone who's not missing, right? This is just a list after list of things that she could be in jail for, assuming she is doing these things.
Can't be
But
married.
why though?
I guess she just never went through with divorces.
Oh.
Yeah, so she just liked getting married, didn't like getting divorced, and then would just get remarried and then be married to like two people at the same time. And on top of that, she just generally had very, very messy relationships. She was the type that seemed to kind of, at a first glance, you would think that maybe she's a very caring, single mom who wants the best for her son. But the more you get to know her, she's a lot. In a previous marriage, she was fined $43,000 for disorderly conduct during the marriage.
That's a lot of money.
By the courts, indicating she might have been abusive to her previous partners. But the abuse doesn't seem reserved just for her partners. Allegedly, she was being sued by her siblings for custody over their elderly mother. So Janie's mom was old and needed someone to take care of her. So this is Rudy's grandmother. All her other children were willing to take care of her, but Janie convinced her mom. She was like, Mom, you gotta stay with me. Like, I'm the one that knows you best. We're the closest. All the siblings, they love Janie, but they're upset about it. Janie's house is notorious for being absolute filth. Their mom was being forced to sleep on a stinky sofa that was covered in urine. The entire house was coated in like a thick layer of animal feces and pee. So they tried to talk to Janie like, hey, I don't think you're in like the right space and you don't really want to take care of her. It's just so much of a hassle. Why don't we take mom in?
Yeah, but if she takes care of her elderly mom, she gets sympathy points, which again, it's like, it's not necessarily Munchausen when it's this kind of scenario, but it's in that realm. I don't know if there's another word for it. The Munchausen thing is just for making your child sick to get sympathy points. I don't know what this is, where it's just you're just doing anything to be like an attention seeker.
Janie wouldn't have it. So they filed complaints to the courts that Janie's house was not clean, nor safe, nor habitable for an elderly mother. There were instances where their mom would be taken to the hospital because her bed sores had gone untreated. They told the courts that their sibling Janie was a pathological liar and lies about everything. They also stated that Janie had all of these rooms in the house that they weren't allowed to go into, which made them a little bit nervous, like what is she doing in that house? But they didn't want to invade her privacy. Like if your full-grown adult sibling had rooms that you weren't allowed to go into, it would be weird to kind of like knock down the door. Like imagine posting that on Reddit. People would be like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's technically none of your business, but Still,
You're the asshole, give them privacy, right? But they noted to the court, it just made them uneasy. It just felt like Janie wasn't fit to take care of their mother. Janie was also in the process of filing for bankruptcy. She
giving it the house definitely is not fit to be taking care of the mom.
was fined for reckless discharge of a firearm, meaning literally her gun went off in public.
How did that even happen? Also, she has a gun, so that can further reinforce, Janie, what happened to your husband, your son, and your brother? Question marks. Is it the uncle of Rudy or the uncle of her? He didn't seem that old, so I'm assuming it's her brother. So yeah, what happened to your husband, son, and brother?
Accidentally. And on top of all the time that she spent in court, she spent even more time on Facebook. This is where I think things get pretty enlightening, if you will. Janie was addicted to Facebook, like full on the rush of getting comments, the rush of getting likes on her pictures and videos.
Isn't that just like normal behavior for a mom? Isn't that just where moms hang out, is Facebook?
I'm gonna be honest with you. It is easy to get sucked into it. Like the comment section, it feels like you're interacting with a bunch of people and you just want to scroll and get everyone's opinions on things.
Well, I mean, I don't use Facebook. I have one / had one, but I don't use it anymore. There's no reason to even log in anymore to it, so I just don't use it.
Like,
I used to, but not anymore. Not for years at this point. Many, many years, even.
I love going through the comment sections on these videos and figuring out what everyone thinks about it because I'm so fascinated and intrigued.
I guess you're talking about like YouTube now.
Janie was into it, but she didn't have a lot of people commenting on her stuff. So she would make fake accounts
And talk to herself.
comment on her photos and have full-blown discussions between like 5 people, but it was just like 5 Janies.
What the how did they even find out? They
Yeah.
just did the research?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So she would spend all day on Facebook creating multiple accounts so that she could basically interact with herself. And like, hear me out.
That's very depressing.
She would have her actual Facebook account, then she would make multiple fake ones, and they would just all be praising her. And she would often use her own pictures for the fake accounts, but they would be edited to the point where she was unrecognizable. Then she would use those fake accounts to like her photos. Then she would make another account. Sometimes she would take pictures from not so famous people that were like kind of famous, but not really. And then she would talk to herself again. And she just kind of got off on these social media interactions, even if it was just with herself. It's a very strange thing to do, and that made me a little bit pensive. Like, I was pondering the idea of social media when I was researching this, because I'm like, okay, there's got to be like 2 aspects to social media. There's the actual interacting with people that people get off on, and then there's the idea of people feeling like you're interacting with people.
Are you getting into the internet is dead scenario here? The conspiracy that most people online at this point are just like AI, right? And it's just a bunch of AI talking to other AI, and there's no real humans on the internet anymore. It's just a bunch of bots talking to bots. And if you're human interacting with anyone, the chances of it being a bot is high? Question mark. And thus you get into the internet is dead conspiracy. I think that's about what it is. I can just look it up, right? Yeah, the dead internet theory or / conspiracy. Again, it's just that the internet has come to a point, a singularity, if you will, of it's just there's more bots than humans, and it's just a bunch of bots interacting with bots, a bunch of humans just interacting with bots. And you could go anywhere with that. It's that way because people want to the government wants to manipulate you, consumerism wants to manipulate you, your opinions on things, whatever. But again, this is kind of like that, where it's just because we're talking about a woman just interacting with herself online, so it kind of just made me think about the dead internet theory.
Because I feel like, I don't know why she would do that.
So don't get too spooked though. about that. Like next time you're like online on social media and you're talking to somebody and you don't know if they're a real person or not. Maybe now that you've heard about the dead internet theory, you might question every time you talk to somebody online, are they real or not? Who knows? They might not be.
Is it because she wants people to look at her Facebook and be like, wow, she's got a lot of friends? She's got a lot of people that love her?
I assume it's just to be like, if anyone does see her post or profile, they'll see like, wow, this person has so many, like she just said, this person has so many people who praise them or like them or agree with them.
Yeah, maybe.
Right? Or is it just, I mean, I can't imagine someone is genuinely like log out, log in, hee hee, and like having a blast with that.
Yeah, I feel like she's maybe doing it for other people to see.
Right? That's what I was thinking. So a local activist known as Grizzly stated she created a family of catfish profiles to support her post because nobody likes her stuff and comments back. So she created a lot of fake profiles to circle her. She's using this as some sort of love or personal gain, like whatever she needs from this. This is like her little community. She also posted a post on one of these fake accounts saying that she was in Australia on vacation, and she used stock photos of people who are on the...
I'm pretty sure I've literally seen these like hot dogs before. I mean, they're not hot dogs here, but people made the joke or even posted sometimes where they just put two hot dogs in front of a camera and it just looks like this. Like you can't tell the difference. Like this might actually be two hot dogs. You don't know. It's not possibly not lakes. It's possibly just two hot dogs. Again, you'll never know. Just like you'll never know if you're talking to a real human on the internet anymore. Now that you know about the dead internet theory, you're welcome for the cognito hazard that I have infected you with of not knowing what if the internet is alive anymore or not. Also, if you don't know what I mean by cognito hazard, it just means like information that's harmful information that changes your perception, I guess, of reality sometimes. So it's usually just harmful information that you do not want to know about, which that could be considered a cognito hazard because now you may question whether or not your interactions online are with real people or just AI. I mean, I guess like the easiest way to explain a cognito hazard, which I'm sorry in advance, but this will make it make more sense, is someone telling you, hey, don't think about your breathing. Hey, don't think about blinking. Don't think about your blinking. Don't think about your breathing, because blinking and breathing are voluntary and involuntary actions, right? So sometimes you can manually take it over. And once you've manually taken it over, it takes a while to have your subconscious take it over again. So saying stuff like that could be considered a cognito hazard because I've effectively done damage to you mentally by saying that, because now it's forcing you to blink manually and breathe manually. So you can consider that a cognito hazard, like the babiest of cognito hazards.
Thinner side, and they'd be lounging at the beach and she would pretend that it was her. So she's very much into all these fake personalities and identities that she's creating for herself online. She's very drawn to the attention, even if it's from her own self. To appear like she's getting attention was good enough for her, and she's drawn to it like a moth to a flame. It seems like she likes drama and attention. These are kind of like the things that are coming out, and I really hate putting those labels on it, specifically women, because it's like, oh, women just love drama, but I can't think of any other way to describe her. There was a very telling incident in Rudy's life when they found out that Rudy had a tumor on his foot. It was not a cancerous tumor. Everyone in the family already knew about this tumor. I don't know how they found out. Maybe he went to his family doctor. They're like, you have a tumor on your foot, but it's fine. Like, we tested it. You're good, right? Out of nowhere, Janie is like, all right, Rudy, you're going to walk to the ER and tell them that you took a bunch of pills as an attempt to take your own life.
Why?
And then say it's because your tumor is cancerous or something.
What?
And then once he did that, he was admitted. She gets called to the hospital.
Oh yeah, let's just roll this back with like the big list of things that she's done. We need to add child abuse to it too. I don't know why I didn't say that one earlier, but yeah, child abuse.
Runs over. She's taken pictures of him, posting it to Facebook, talking about how he has a cancerous tumor, and she stated emotionally on Facebook that she didn't want to lose the only son that she has. So I think that she was being smart with it. She wanted it to appear as if Rudy had cancer, and in order to be an inpatient, I don't think that they were going to inpatient him for just having a tumor on his foot that was non-cancerous. So
I mean, she's just doing it so that make things easier
he
or
said
get
that he
treatment.
attempted to take his own life, which I think there's like a mandatory like 72-hour or 48-hour hold. So he would be inpatient, so she could go and snap all these pictures.
Ah, okay. So she's just trying to get him in the hospital to take pictures of him to make it seem like he is cancerous. Okay.
Wow, come on.
This is alleged. That's my belief. That's my personal opinion, okay? Now, netizens speculate that Janie had Munchausen by proxy.
Okay. I was assuming that was gonna show up eventually, the Munchausen, which is what I was talking about earlier. So she is, in fact, adding that to the video because it seemed like she does have Munchausen.
Which is when parents often make their children or partners get sick to get attention and sympathy from others. Like, oh my goodness, you're such a great caretaker. I mean, we've heard of so many of these cases by now. She would just straight up have all these full-blown conversations of like, oh, you're so like strong for this. My goodness, like we're supporting you. But they were from herself too. Yeah. And you know, I think the older that I get, the more amazed I am when a kid is able to be very different from their parents or to even hold different beliefs from their parents. I feel like I'm realizing more and more how big of an influence like environment really is.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary to think like how much of our personalities are just conditioned through our environment and we
Well, yeah, because you can just see it as your personality slash just way you think about anything and everything is just a culmination of every person on the planet that has ever existed because they influence someone who influenced someone who influenced someone who influenced someone, etc., that eventually got to your parents that influenced you. Like everything is just humans in general influence that's all down from the very beginning to this point, right? Like it's all just environmental stuff that's influenced. You could argue, again, almost a cognito hazard. It's not really a cognito hazard. It's just information that is whatever, but that your it's almost like not like your AI, but you're more robotic than you might think, since all your opinions and actions that you take are just possibly just things you've been taught or nurtured into doing, and you're just like just pressing 1 and 0 or 1, right, or yes or no because of your upbringing. I'm like having trouble like explaining what I mean, but like it's almost like you're robotic. Like every action you're taking isn't really yours, it's just what you've been taught to do rather than what you actually are thinking. Like most of your actions are just your actions that you were told to do in scenario A or scenario B, etc. Don't listen to me, I'm just like rambling about nothing.
we think it's our personality, but it's just our environment.
Yeah, like basically she's kind of saying the same thing.
Right? Rudy was alone with Janie. Like Janie was constantly getting a new husband. She's foaming at the mouth for drama and attention, in my opinion. And Rudy was nothing like his mom. He was just kind of like this nurturing, soft person. That's how people describe him, you know? He didn't really get to spend time with his biological dad, or he didn't really have any siblings he was close with. He just had his mom. She was his primary guardian.
Yeah, probably because she took out everybody else. I'm telling you, she did it.
Rudy was the type of person that would see a stray cat on the road and just spend the entire day trying to get that little kitty inside the house. And he wouldn't even post about it on Facebook. He just wanted to take care of people. He wanted to take care of things. But he was also really, really shy. He's very gentle, but very quiet, reserved. There was just one person that would bring him out of his shell, his beloved stepbrother, Charles. So Janie, at one point when Rudy was younger, had gotten remarried to a guy that already had a son, Charles, like I was mentioning, remember? Charles was 8 years older than Rudy. So both parents, they were concerned. Janie and the stepdad were worried, what if the boys don't get along? They have got an 8-year age gap. What if they freaking hate each other? Rudy falls in love with Charles the minute that they meet. He sees Charles as this older brother father figure that he never had, that he had been desperately craving. And everything Charles did, Rudy wanted to do. Charles has plans to go join the Marines. Rudy has plans to go join the Marines. Like, he just looked up to him so much. And then one day, Janie and Rudy are home, and Janie gets a call. She starts panicking, and she tells Rudy, put on your clothes, we gotta go. Charles had gotten into a motorcycle accident at an intersection near their house when he was coming home.
Okay, so this is how Charles dies, but also the uncle died the same way, because she said the uncle died in a motorcycle accident as well. How did two of the family members possibly die this way?
Janie and Charles ran out. They were there at the intersection before any paramedics even arrived, which I'm not sure was a good thing or not, because Rudy could see Charles laying there. His brother, his father figure, his best friend is laying there, losing so much blood. He was barely breathing. At just 13 years old, Rudy saw his big brother die on the side of the road.
Okay, so he did die that way, which means, again, how did the brother and uncle die the same way? I mean, we can't really blame the mom, but it's just crazy that two of them died the same way. And then, like, why are so many people dying around this woman?
He watched Charles take his last breath right there on the streets of Houston. And I imagine this was incredibly traumatic. I mean, at 13, I'm kind of amazed at how well Rudy analyzed and expressed his grief. He went onto Facebook on the first anniversary of his brother's death, and he wrote, "Brother, today is officially 1 year since the day you left to be with the Lord. I still miss you as much as I did then, if not more. You showed me so many things when you were here. My regret is not telling you that I loved you before you left. I wish God would just grant me one wish, and I would use that wish to bring you back. I wish I could ride with you through the open roads of the woods, and I just couldn't have asked for a better dad and a father figure." He's 14 when he wrote this. Like, I can't believe how mature and thoughtful this post was. And then 3 years after Charles's passing, Rudy's biological father passed away. Rudy was 16 years old, and Rudy's dad was found in a parking garage in his police patrol car, with his police-issued pistol and a self-inflicted bullet wound to his head. Okay, so let me explain. Rudy's biological dad was a police officer. Well, not anymore. At the time that he died, he actually was fired from his position the day of his death.
Like, literally the same day. It was that instantaneous. It would make sense. Like, how do you still have the uniform, the pistol, the car?
Months before his death, right? Higher up police officers caught a whiff of something fishy going on in their police force. There were an overwhelming number of speeding tickets issued by officers who seemed to be able to, like, split their bodies in two. Early February, Rudy's dad issued a speeding ticket on the Katy freeway. 7 miles away, at the exact same time, Rudy's dad was issuing another speeding ticket. So unless he was able to split his body into two, something he never told the police force about, or there was something fishy going on. It was clear he was writing up false traffic tickets. But the question is why, right? Like, what is the reason? Back then, and I don't know if it is still now, and I don't know how many different police departments do this, but certain police departments...
She about to talk about the quota. I've mentioned the cop quota before, but it's something you need to be worried about, where they possibly are just out there trying to get a quota, and you might just be another number to them. So it doesn't matter if you've done anything. They just need that number for the month so they don't get in trouble.
They basically pay their police officers commission on speeding tickets. Think of it like that. So they get paid based on the number of tickets that they write. This probably has, I think, been since changed at most police departments to like a regular clock in, clock out system to get overtime. But the more tickets equals the more overtime pay. Rudy's father was one of the 3 officers at this particular department doing this. He did this for 3 years and made more than $150,000 in fake overtime. Collectively, the 3 of them wrote more than 5,000 bogus tickets and fined random citizens a total of $350,000. So thankfully, after this comes to light, those tickets were thrown out. But Rudy's dad was fired from his position. He had to hand in his badge and his gun. But instead, he walked out of the court that day, went to the patrol car, and took his own life.
It still seems a bit like, did you really need to do that? It's just like so instantaneous. There's like no build up to that. Like, why? There had to be something, it had to be more than that. To just be like, okay, I got caught and fired. Okay, game over, I guess. There had to be some other stuff we don't know about that was happening to him or something. Like, I don't know, because that just seems too quick. Like, he had to be depressed before this, is what I'm saying. Some other factors had to be in play for someone to just be like, okay, I'm out. Because it's not like we don't have information if they were going to, like, try to get that money back or take him to court or what. It's just like, oh yeah, you're fired. It's like, okay, I guess I'm just going to leave now.
Now, Rudy wasn't that close with his biological dad. He was not present in Rudy's life after he and Janie broke up, but it took a really big toll on Rudy. It seems like even Rudy was surprised by the amount of emotions that he was feeling after finding out about all of this. He wrote on Facebook, even though I didn't really know him, it still hurt to lose him. I mean, maybe because I know I'm never going to get the chance to have that father-son relationship with him that I always wanted and get the closure that I always needed. Honestly, I didn't expect to feel anything for him when I got the news that he died, but I did. I didn't realize there were feelings I had, and I think these feelings were a mixture from shock to hurt to sad to anger to numbness and more anger and just, I don't know, so many mixed feelings.
He's a very, very insightful kid.
Yeah.
So, I have a thought, because I'm still on the, this mom is like actually really evil, but she probably just needs help, right? She's probably just like depressed and needs a lot of attention. But again, like if the brother and her son died from the motorcycle accident, we're still trying to say it's the mom. We could argue that the mom, tampered with the motorcycles so that when they used them, they would, cause an accident. I don't know why she would do that to her own son, but it would make sense for the brother because she's trying to make him set up. But son, I don't know why she would do that other than for, again, sympathy points. The dad, however, I would assume has to be paying child supports, question mark. And maybe she was, I don't know, extorting him, blackmailing him somehow, like really badly, and that's why he was writing these tickets. And since it was all over, he's like, my life's over, time to leave. I don't know. That's just like this crazy scenario that I'm making up of what this woman could have done, because the story is just so crazy. But it's probably just more simple than that. Like, for some reason, he just exited. Like, just for some reason, unfortunately, the brother or her child just died in an accident, and then just coincidentally, her own brother just died in a similar accident as well.
Yes. Like, even the way that he's able to grasp...
So logical, too, the way that he breaks it down.
And the way that he articulates his feelings of, like, I didn't expect to feel these feelings,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good at communicating. Now, Rudy was 16 when his dad passed. The combined death of his brother and his father in such a short amount of time, I mean, it definitely took a toll on him. His cousin stated that at 17 years old, and I don't know how to describe this. They say that he had the mental age of a 10-year-old. I don't know if I believe that because of the Facebook posts, but I think they meant his innocence is kind of what I'm getting. So the way that they describe it is he's so warm, so kind, so sweet, but he had this childhood naiveness about him. That a manner of thinking that most children grow out of during teenagehood. Like, when you're a teenager, you're like a menace to society. Everyone is. But he just had that childhood innocence about him. It seemed like maybe the trauma actually made him feel even more shy, more reserved. It did feel like he had some sort of depression, PTSD, and/or anxiety. And then Rudy went missing. And then for the next 8 years, Janie would tell the story. One of Rudy's chores after school was to eat dinner and then walk the 2 dogs. You know, usually it takes 15 minutes for them to do their business, but 15 minutes turned into 2 hours and 3 hours, and I'm pacing around the house trying to suppress the motherly panic when you start to... I was reasoning with myself, maybe he ran into a friend, he got distracted. But then Janie heard a bark at the door. Instead of her son and 2 dogs, there was 1 dog with the leash dangling behind it. The dog found its way home. Janie said she was actually less nervous now. She thought, okay, maybe while Rudy was walking the dogs, he let go of the leashes and they ran about, and so he's chasing after the other one right now. And this one found its way home. He's going to turn up soon. She waited. There was another bark at the door. Her other dog. By the morning, both dogs were home, but Rudy was gone. She called the police, who didn't seem that interested in searching for Rudy. Technically, he was 17, and they considered him basically an adult, which you're like, what?
It basically does not count. Even if he was 18, shut up. Still go find him.
Adult is 18. He's 7 months shy of 18, and 17 is the age of consent in Texas, so no, he's not a minor. Are the police just heartless? Well, not really. Apparently, Janie gave them the wrong birth date when she initially reported him missing.
Okay, so what did she say then?
It's unclear which birthday she gave, but that could potentially explain why the police believed him to be an adult when he went missing.
That would make sense. It's just all this massive manipulation that she's doing.
At least briefly.
Again, if we want to feed into this conspiracy that I keep going on about with, she's connected to the deaths of those other 3. She could just manipulate all of this, even the dad.
Janie also told officers that Rudy had a tumor on his foot that made it very hard for him to walk, and he was struggling with his mental health. Officers searched the area that Rudy had gone missing. They found a backpack with notebooks and an asthma inhaler, and Janie confirmed it to be Rudy's, which... This is changing things. If Rudy ran away, like the police initially thought...
Yeah, that's new information that he has asthma. Needs that inhaler.
Why would he have left his backpack and his inhaler in it? Now Rudy was classified as a missing persons case, and Janie went into missing mom mode, okay? She's printing out posters of Rudy and putting them up everywhere in town. She's getting the police involved, family members, friends. The entire community is putting up these posters. Everyone felt for Janie. First, her stepson Charles dies, then her former husband dies, and now her other son is missing, all in less than 5 years. They want to help, especially after they heard Janie tell the story of how Rudy went missing. Of course they want to help. They couldn't believe it. I mean, just a young kid walking the family dogs goes missing. It's shocking. But it is just a story, isn't it? So the case goes cold slowly. Officers who are working on Rudy's case, they get transferred, they start working on different cases, they retire, they get fired, and the community also kind of moved on. I mean, there was such little information to even go off of. Nobody would even have any clue in which general direction to even search for Rudy. The only one that was interested in looking for Rudy was good old Janie. She started a GoFundMe page for her son.
Okay, GoFundMe, but she has her son, so she's just milking that money for free. How much did she get out of it?
And she wrote, "It has been so long and Rudy is still missing."
I assume not that much, since it seems like barely anybody's trying to do anything here.
"Please help us find Rudy." The community came together and donated over $2,000 to
Okay, so free $2,000. It's decent.
find her son. The
A decent scam is what I'm referring to.
detectives continued searching, but they told Dateline NBC, "We don't really suspect any foul play.
What?
There's nothing to indicate that he had gone missing."
Really?
Yeah, the backpack, they stated they couldn't even be really sure that that's Rudy's backpack. All they got was the mother's confirmation. Yeah, and the investigation fizzled out. And for years, Janie was active on true crime forums, posting about her son. She even stated that she was worried for her own safety. She stated the police hinted at her that human traffickers were involved, which, side note, goes against what the police have just stated publicly, that there was no foul play suspected. But, sometimes they withhold that information from the general public, but just noting the discrepancy there. But maybe Janie knew best, right? Before Rudy was found, Janie started asking around about when the least busy time was at the US-Mexico border. She stated that
Okay, we are in Texas, so
she wanted to take a trip down to the border town Reynosa, and she stated that she knew without a shadow of doubt that Rudy had been human trafficked and smuggled across the border into Mexico. She was going to go down there, movie Taken style, and get her son back. She talked to her friends like this is like a Mission Impossible mission. She was going to go undercover. I mean, she would do whatever it takes. She would go undercover to get these traffickers, to get them to trust her. She would fight tooth and nail to get her son back, even if she has to pose as a customer, as a human trafficker herself. She was going to do whatever it took. I mean, she was like really hyping it up. She was painting a picture of how dangerous and how terrifying this mission was going to be.
except she didn't do it, question mark.
And everyone's like, really? Reynosa? It's a pretty chill town. It's like being like, I'm gonna go into the dirty streets of San Diego. Everyone's like, oh, that's not really what I know San Diego to be about. Reynosa and a lot of Mexico is not a drug war zone, like how often the media in the US likes to portray Mexico. Reynosa is just a town with a ton of kids, shops, universities. It's actually a pretty good tourist town. It's like a normal town. And of course, there's probably human trafficking there. I mean, there's human trafficking presence in every major and mid-sized city around the world, especially near country borders. But going to Reynosa is not really like this dangerous mission that Janie is like hyping it up to be. But she starts a whole fundraiser to fund her trip. People
Oh, she wanted $75,000. Jesus Christ.
were going to come together, make donations, hear his story, and give support. It was supposed to help bring Rudy home. In reality, Janie didn't seem that invested. So the rest of the family, Rudy's cousins, aunts, uncles, they had pooled all their money together and actually hired 2 private investigators that showed up at the fundraiser. And the 2 PIs, they're pretty observant. Everyone else is, we're normal people. We're like in our heads. We're, okay, well, I'm stressed about this that's going on in my life, and I'm not really focusing on other people right now. These 2 PIs, they're like detectives. They said, it was weird. At the fundraiser, Janie showed up late. She didn't go around and say hello to any of the people who were donating money or anyone who was at the fundraiser. And remember how she said she knew which human trafficker took Rudy? Well, the private investigators obviously were interested in this, and they were like, hey, you gotta tell us the name. You gotta tell us that we can't help you. We're literally being paid to help you, so let us help you. She hesitantly probably gave them a name. And they actually tracked that person down, called them, and this alleged human trafficker already knew Rudy's mom. And she stated, I told Janie I didn't want to be involved in her scam.
In her scam. So, that says a lot, but how did she still get away with this for so long if they were doing all this, possibly a long time, in the past, and still he was just like, still kidnapped, quote unquote, for all this time, despite these private investigators being suspicious. Also, that person there just saying, I didn't want to be a part of her scam, means she has like this whole storyboard of what she was going to do and how she was going to do it, and she was going to use this person as a semi scapegoat, but the person would be in on it. But apparently they said they didn't want to be a part of it, so that's what they're saying. They didn't want to be part of her scam. I feel like that says volumes, right?
And then they hung up.
What?
Very strange. Then on a different occasion, Janie sent this investigator receipts of conversations that she allegedly had with Rudy's traffickers. Now the thing is, she told the PIs that these traffickers were located in Tijuana, Mexico. The type of Spanish in the alleged conversation is the wrong dialect for someone from Mexico. Okay, this is kind of crazy, right? And the thing about Spanish is that there's literally an entire world of different dialects. There's this interesting phenomenon that's actually happening right now in border states between Mexico and the US and inside of the US, where Spanish is changing. It's called Chicano Spanish or Spanglish or Tex-Mex Spanish.
Yeah, I mean, I would have said Tex-Mex. That's kind of what we would have said here. Chicano. Yep, that's also a word. I mean, Spanglish, Chicano. All the words she's using are correct.
It's Valley Spanish, some people say. It's got a ton of different names.
I haven't heard Valley Spanish before, but like Tex-Mex, Spanglish, and Chicano, I have heard. because obviously I'm in Texas, where again like 40% of the population is like Mexican, which is which is the majority, by the way. Uh, like I know 40% isn't fully half, but you have all the other races in the other category, so that makes Mexicans. Did I say Spanish? That makes Mexicans the majority of the people who live here.
It's basically Spanish mixed with English. So it's not like I'm speaking Spanish and then throwing in English words, but the English construction of a sentence is used and replaced by Spanish. So like in Korea, it could be like,
Yeah, it's like grammar is changing a little
like
bit.
in Korean, it would be you over there go is the construction of the sentence. And then in English, it'd be go over there. But you know what I mean? So it would be that English construction of the sentence, but replaced with Spanish. There are also a lot of words that are kind of not made up, but not really said a lot in Mexico that's used with a lot of second or third generation immigrants from Mexico that now reside in the US. It's on its way to becoming like classified as its own language. So the text messages between Janie and the traffickers showed Chicano Spanish both ways. And the PIs kind of raised their eyebrows. Like, sure, it's a possibility that people in Mexico can speak a dialect that's mostly found in the US. But fun fact, this dialect, Chicano Spanish, is typically looked down upon by people in Mexico. They call Chicano speakers no sabo, or like no sabo kids who don't know, quote, real Spanish. There's almost a pride in Mexico of like, oh, you're not really from Mexico. So it's not a desirable dialect to speak if you reside in Mexico. And she said that these traffickers were from Tijuana. So, but guess who knows Chicano Spanish and guess who speaks Chicano Spanish? Janie.
Oh, that's her language.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. She's an immigrant residing
I mean, that makes sense.
in the US. So it makes sense for her side of the text to be that dialect. But the alleged traffickers also speak Chicano Spanish. It's just something interesting to note. And besides that, Janie and the alleged traffickers had the same manner of speaking, like the same way of punctuating.
Are we saying that this is the thing that she loves to do, which is talk to herself? That she is the trafficker speaking and herself? Is that what we're hinting at here?
And the PI speculated that Janie just really wanted to go to Reynosa for a little vacation, but she wanted the public to pay for it, so she used Rudy as an excuse for the fundraiser.
Sure. So that means she did end up going. But yeah, she just needed the funds to do it.
Okay, so to get it straight, the whole family was like, okay, let's help her now.
Yeah.
So they hired 2 investigators, and these 2 investigators is investigating the shit out of her,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And she's basically digging her own grave now.
Yes, but I think the family doesn't know that because the investigators, I think they were trying to hint it to the other family members that hired them. But it's very hard to be like, hey, I think your sister is lying about this without any proof. You know, because these are all kind of like, oh, I don't want to say it. I know we're both thinking it, but like, I don't want to be the one to say it.
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 month later, she reports to the police that she was robbed and carjacked by an unknown subject who fled to Mexico. She doesn't
Making some random nonsense up? Are we even gonna pretend this is real?
even say how she knew they went to Mexico with her car. She said that she was robbed by, and I quote,
Okay, what could she possibly say? Like, again, like, what could she possibly... What is it gonna... Is this gonna be a trafficker? Is it gonna be something racist? Since I'm assuming she is Mexican, this can only be a certain kind of racism. Though, like they make you learn Spanish over here in school, so that anybody could be speaking Spanish over here. But what is she going to say? I literally cannot imagine what it is.
and illegal.
Okay.
And that left such a sour, awful taste in people's mouths. I mean, she's from this community. Most of the people supporting her and supporting her cause were people that lived in the area, and they felt like, you know what? Maybe Rudy is not being found because he's not a white kid. Like, we as immigrants, we need to stick together. None of these people were rich. Like, this is not the socioeconomic community where they're just pouring in money to GoFundMes. They didn't have a lot of disposable income.
that you still would be surprised, though, uh, about that kind of stuff over here.
A lot of them had family from Mexico, just like Janie has family from Mexico. I mean, she should understand how hurtful it is to call someone an illegal and accuse them of a crime, but she still did it. And remember how Janie's siblings sued her to get custody of their mother? So it sounds like all of her siblings hate her, right? That's not really the case. They still really cared for Janie. They just also really cared for their mother. Whenever Janie got a call of a reported sighting of Rudy, it didn't matter where in the country it was. The siblings would drive her for days. One time they took her from Texas, Houston, Texas, and drove her all the way to California.
Oof.
Because they got an anonymous tip that Rudy was seen in California.
That's like so far away. But it could just been a vacation for her, right? Where the heck was Rudy during all this? He's just locked up in that room? Hopefully he has food and stuff in there.
They would take days off work. They would leave their families, leave their bills, leave their responsibilities to get Janie to California to see if that was her son. And it was never Rudy. After each failed attempt to find Rudy, Janie would post onto Facebook, and she once posted, "Rudy Farias, I know God and Big Brother Charles are both
Farias the Fourth?
watching over you wherever you are. I ask them to every single night. I ask that they shield you and protect you wherever you are and keep you safe until we can find you and bring you home. Where could you possibly be? I miss your morning kisses and your everyday funny pranks. I just miss you, period. Your room is empty and cold as you once described your brother's room when he passed away. That empty feeling I never wanted to feel again after losing your brother. But here I am with that emptiness once again, so please find your way back home to me and fill this empty void that I'm feeling." Side note, Janie references losing her other son a lot, and while she was Charles' stepmom, and I know stepmoms can be very involved and can be just like a regular mom, like a biological mom to their children, Janie and Charles allegedly weren't close at all. Like, allegedly, Janie didn't really care for Charles like that, and then he died, and then
Didn't care about him that, but I mean, her own child really did, so it's weird that she was so, like, estranged from Charles, despite her own son being so in, like loving his brother a lot. That's kind of crazy.
Then after he died, suddenly it was like, my son, I'm grieving my son. You were my everything, my son. Anyway, her post continued. I can't do this anymore. You are all I have left. Please find your way home. At the time she wrote and posted this Facebook post, Rudy was in her house being held prisoner behind a locked door.
Yeah, it's like, obviously, but like, when did the timing stop where she stopped locking him away? Also, flip the script for a second away from, me saying that she had a hand in those three people dying. Her brother, her son, and her husband, ex-husband. Flip that the other way around, and possibly losing her ex, her child, and, well, I don't know if her we can say her uncle yet, but not her uncle, her brother. Also her grandma, but the grandma, again, that might not have been it. But she's lost, because the grandma's already lost, like, she was lost afterwards, after all this, so she doesn't count for this statement that I'm about to make. What if those three things actually did do a lot of damage to her mentally, and she became someone who's like, okay, I don't want to lose anyone ever again or anymore, and thus locked Rudy away so that nothing could hurt him or take him away from her, right? So that's the opposite end of the things, where she's not just an attention seeker, trying to get pity points, which I couldn't think of that term earlier, but pity points. And she had nothing to do with those other three dying. It's just, it broke her, and then she was like, okay, I'm going to take my only son and lock him away forever, right? That could be something. I mean, could argue that I'm giving her too much credit, but that's also a scenario outside of the, again, scenario of her tampering with multiple motorcycles and blackmail and extortion that I'm just like bringing into existence with those deaths that were mentioned.
It seems like he was held captive in that room for 8 years. Rudy would later state that he...
Okay, so we have actual testimony from Rudy for this.
in that
I mean, he's alive, so you'd hope you'd have something to say.
room for 8 years. Rudy would later state that he was never chained up or physically held captive, but he was mentally held captive. 8 years ago, when he was 17 years old, he had gotten fed up with how he was being treated at home. He felt underappreciated. He felt a lack of respect. He said his mother never respected his boundaries, and he just wanted to live his own life, right? So he ran away at 17. He ran away.
Oh.
So he actually did that.
He came back the very next day. He was
Yeah, I mean, he's a teenager, right? He's not gonna do it for real. I mean, most of them don't do it for real.
gone for like 24 hours even. Nobody saw him come back except his mom. He walked in through the door, probably expecting to apologize and be like, okay, I couldn't do it. I'm 17. I can't even get a job, right? But Janie told him, you need to go into hiding. What? The police are looking for you, Rudy. You're a wanted man now.
Wanted?
You had gotten a speeding ticket a few days ago, and because I already reported you missing...
Speeding ticket? Mentions? Coincidence? I don't think so. Again, she could have had something to do with the dad.
I mean, the police think that you're running from the law, running away from the speeding ticket. You're an outlaw. The police are looking for you, and when they find you, they're going to throw you in jail for running away. Rudy genuinely believed her. I mean, keep in mind that his family said that at the age of 17, his mental age was closer to 10. And
Yeah, so he's just naive, like she said.
this was his mother, so he didn't expect that she would ever lie. So he stayed hidden in his room for the first day, and then the first day turned into like a week and then a year, and then his mother had everything worked out. She had thoroughly brainwashed him. Anytime anyone would come over, he would go into the room, lock the door, and stay deathly silent. The only people who knew he was home was his mother and his grandmother, Rosa. I mean,
But she had dementia, so she couldn't like really let anybody know.
that's it. She tried to tell the rest of the kids, so Rudy's aunts and uncles, that Rudy was in that room, but every single time, and Rudy heard all of this.
What?
Yeah, he's in the room listening to his family talk, laugh together, and then randomly his grandmother would be like, Rudy's in that room. He desperately wanted to do something, but he couldn't. His mom convinced him that if anyone knew that he was home, the police would find out and he would go to jail.
So why did she bring her mom to the house too?
Some people suspect that she was getting checks from the government.
Oh,
If she
okay.
was
Okay, that makes it. If you're a caretaker for someone, that is possible. Like, you can get hired to do that because someone has to take care of them, right? So you yourself could probably get hired to take care of your own family, and then thus you're getting paid as if you're doing a job. Because obviously taking care of elderly people is a job that gets paid for. So you can just do that yourself for your own parents, grandparents, etc. I think. I don't think anything's stopping you from doing that. So that's just free money, right?
the caretaker.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So after the case had died down enough, she allowed him to go outside to visit the neighbors once in a while, only so long that he used the name Dolph instead of Rudy. She also took him to work with her. She worked as an overnight security job, so all she did is do some paperwork and kind of sit there. And she forced him to do all the paperwork. Basically anything in the job that she didn't want to do, he was doing it. And when he wasn't doing her job for her, she would toss him her credit card and have him go buy the groceries, do some errands. I mean, this is incredibly ballsy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know how she didn't get caught sooner, but I mean, the fact that she was letting him out made him get caught. Unless we don't know if she deliberately left him out to be found or not. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna figure that out later. We got 20 minutes still of this video. There's something else I wanted to say. Like, he's probably like stunted. At least socially, like they were saying, like he doesn't say much because he's locked away for so many years, not really talking to anybody, possibly only talking to his mom and grandma, maybe. Uh, so yeah, that might have like really stunted his ability to communicate, like more so than just having a hard time speaking in general.
Yeah.
Allegedly, according to a source that spoke with Rudy after he was found, they stated Rudy had suffered physical and mental abuse at the hands of his mother. They alleged that during the 8 years, Janie would drug Rudy, punish.
Well, they said that he seemed like he was always drugged up, so I kind of already assumed that.
Alleged that during the 8 years, Janie would drug Rudy, punish him by locking him in his room like a prison. She threatened and taunted him that he was going to go to prison, and she convinced him that he was in a lot of trouble.
Again, adding to the list, her massive list of things she's done. Drugging another human being. I don't know what that's called, but just drugging someone.
She kept him drugged up allegedly so that he couldn't think for himself. There are also allegations of SA during this time that are hotly debated online.
I've thought that might be something that comes up, but I don't know if we can really go there. Like, clearly there's not enough evidence to be saying that, but if it is, then just throw that on the list of things she's doing.
An activist who spoke with Rudy alleged that Rudy told him that his mother would come into the bathroom when he was showering, force him to bathe her. Sometimes she would just stare at him while he showered. The activist also claimed Rudy stated that Janie forced Rudy under the covers with her without any clothes on. And it sounds like Rudy didn't say this. Rudy did say these things, but the part that is hotly debated is some people are interpreting that as clear abuse. Other people are interpreting it as he didn't explicitly say. In fact, Rudy actually would later deny abuse was involved. But to some people, this is abuse, you know? So the activist believes 100% without a doubt that there was some sort of abuse going on. This went on for about 8 years. But Janie is no mastermind. It's not like she pulled off the most meticulous plan for 8 years long. We actually have a strange time period called the Rudy sightings.
The Rudy sightings?
In 2018, Rudy's cousin Cassandra called the police and she said the weirdest thing had just happened. I think I just saw my cousin, and my cousin is missing. But I went back to check, and now he's gone. Okay, Cassandra, where did you see him? Oh, near my aunt's house. His mom's house? The police would go to check. They didn't have a warrant, so they would ask Janie if they could take a look around, and she would let them. Now, typically with warrants, or the lack of a warrant, I guess, is they don't really dig too much. Like, they don't go through your cabinets. They don't go through your drawers. In fact, if a door is closed, typically the police will ask you, can I open that door? Because they don't have a warrant. They don't have to forcibly open everything. And there was one door that was closed. It was at the end of the hallway. And they asked, can we open the door? And she said, oh, I'd rather you not. Since they didn't have a search warrant, they couldn't force her to open the door. The house was quiet and orderly. She was being generally helpful. They didn't feel like anything was suspicious. I mean, who knows what's behind the door? Maybe it's just like a bunch of her underwear that's hanging in plain sight after she did laundry. Either way, the police leave and chalk the sighting up as a false lead until it happened again.
I was thinking, I don't know how they just did not check this house any thoroughly, but I mean, that now would make sense why they did not do that.
This time it happened when Janie was in the car. She was stopped by the traffic police for a minor traffic offense. She was let off with a warning, and the police asked for her name and for the name of the guy in the passenger seat. She said her name was Judy, not Janie, and she told the officers that the guy in the passenger seat was her nephew, Raphael.
They're just making up stuff.
They didn't even run her license plate because the traffic offense was so minor.
Wow.
There were a few more sightings of Rudy all around his house or in his neighborhood, but each time the police investigated, Janie said that it was just a nephew of hers that looked so similar to Rudy. But the police were kind of confused at the time because most of the sightings of Rudy were reported by Rudy's family members, like his cousin Cassandra, the neighbors, the passerbys. That's explainable, you know? If a neighbor is like, I think I saw this guy on a missing poster, right? It's explainable. Maybe there's a lot of strong genes in the family. But if family members? Like, how likely are you to mistake one cousin for another and be so convinced that one cousin is the other that you immediately call the police?
These family members must be losing their mind for years.
Yes, and Janie is like master manipulating them the whole time. And they're
Yes.
so like my heart
Like even
breaks
if
for
they
them.
have suspicions,
Yes.
and then it's like, is it true? Is it possible? Is it not possible? They must be losing their mind.
And then you have to also consider when you are accusing someone of something so heinous,
Yeah.
you start talking yourself out of it and you're like,
I mean, I'm assuming especially a family member. But again, like, she's not getting in trouble for any of this. It'd be crazy if, like, I look it up now, and it's like, oh yeah, she admitted to, cutting the brake lines on her child's motorcycle. Admitted to cutting the brake lines on her brother's uh, motorcycle, and admitted to extortion slash blackmail slash what the heck ever of her ex-husband. Like, that would be crazy.
am I horrible for thinking that even?
Yeah.
Am I horrible for even thinking that she's capable of doing something so bad?
And then you come to find out that you were right.
Yeah.
Then you probably will feel shitty.
Yeah,
That you should have done something, right?
they feel a lot of guilt. Even Rosa, Rudy's grandmother who had dementia, she would constantly, point, and Janie would say, oh my God, ignore her, guys. She probably is just missing Rudy, that's all. Yeah. Netizens speculate that the police didn't care too much about these alleged sightings because either A, Rudy is an adult at this point, or B, because of Rudy's socioeconomic status. Now, after 8 years, Rudy had this plan. He waited until the middle of the night, stole his mom's car keys. This is when he is found again, right?
Okay, so he did it himself. Okay, well, good on him, I guess.
After 8 years. He's been living like this for 8 years, going as Dolph, doing his mom's job, not able to leave the house unless his mom warranted it. Like, it was a lot. So he's like, I gotta escape. He stole his mom's car keys, credit card, drove away from the house. Now, from what we know now, he didn't have any other destination except for going away. Like, he just wanted to get away. He got a couple minutes away before he crashed the car. It had been 8 years since he drove a car.
Makes sense.
Every so often, his mom would let him drive the car around, but very rarely. He wasn't used to it. He crashed it. That's how he got majority of the cuts and bruises. He left the keys in the car and continued on foot. He said he wandered around without much direction, and at one point he appeared in front of a church, and that's where he was found. And he was, quote, reunited with his family. Now, remember the picture of Rudy in the hospital after he was found?
Okay, what are we gonna say about this?
Yeah, Rudy's family immediately recognized that photo from 8 years ago.
It's not even real?
Apparently, Janie had posted the same photo 8 years ago when Rudy was hospitalized for the tumor on his foot, remember? It's not even a recent photo.
What the hell?
And the whole nation was like, oh my God, Rudy's been found and he's in the hospital right now. We don't even know if he went to the hospital. Side note, she went to the church to be joined with Rudy, and authorities would later come out and say that they were trying to rush Rudy to the hospital, but Janie kept saying, no, he doesn't want to go to the hospital.
I'm guessing she's trying to, like, kidnap him again somehow, right?
So they just thought, okay, maybe like
Just so, like, or kidnap him again, or just make sure he doesn't say anything to them.
he's too scared to be in a hospital right now. Maybe mother knows best, right? So the family was very vocal about this discrepancy online. So the family is all turning on Janie. They're trying to be behind Rudy. They're turning on Janie 100%. And there were a lot of speculations because the family is now suddenly turning on the mom. Netizens were bringing up like, ooh, maybe there's some doubt on this story. After Rudy was found, Janie made a Facebook account by the name of Bellos Niños, meaning beautiful children. And she posted as if it was like a fan page for her and her children, but she never posted about Rudy. It's weird. Yeah. And then in another post, Janie is pretending to be a news TikTok account, and she posted, coming from estranged family members of the Sanchez family. The family had come for Janie before Rosa, their mother, passed away. It was a nasty court battle, but because Janie prevailed, they had since been seeking revenge by slander and defamation. Basically saying, all the family members that are now casting doubt on Rudy's story after Rudy has been found, they're all doing this because they hate Janie, because Janie won custody of their mom in court. It's not because there's actual holes in the story. It's because they're revengeful. They're vengeful people.
I don't know why you just keep digging the hole. Just constantly, just keep digging the hole, pretending to be all these different people.
After
Obsessed with Facebook.
Rudy was found, Janie continued to have full-blown conversations with herself online. She would use fake accounts to comment things on her own posts like, "This must be so hard for you, sending you strength and love during this difficult time." Then she...
I wonder if it's, fake account, you click on it, there's nothing on their page.
Yes!
Again, the internet is dead theory. You're not talking to real people on the internet. I mean, I'm real, right? 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 But again, you never know. Everyone you're talking to could not be real. They could be fake.
It's like they have nothing, they've commented on nothing else but your post.
Yes. And you're
It's
like,
so fake.
yes. You're like, you literally made this account to do this right now.
Yeah.
Then she would log out, turn around, sign into another account and go, "Same here. I can't imagine going through what you're going through. Good wishes to you and your family."
I was trying to think of a good way to talk about this, diagnosis. Is this digital schizophrenia or whatever the other one was? I don't know if it could be schizophrenia, but just a digital schizophrenia.
Wow.
Then she would sign into her account and comment, "Thank you. Your support really means a lot." Sorry. It's not funny. It's so oyopso. You know the Korean saying. It's so ridiculous. I have no other reaction, right? Then she would use another account to make another post. She posted a selfie of herself, but it was coming from like someone else's account, speaking for her. And then captioned it. This is from Rudy Farias' mother, Janie Alexis Santana. These bitches need to shut their traps. It's sad when you need to attack people during a crisis just for followers, clout, and popularity. If anyone is following those hoes either on Facebook, TikTok, or any other social media, you will be blocked from here and all posts will be private for friends and family only. We don't need the bullshit and negativity. Either you support Janie and Rudy or you don't. And if you don't, then get the fuck out and delete your ass off our pages or I'll find out who you are and I'll do it for you and you won't see shit moving forward. I'm not the one, boo.
So that was coming from her pretending to be a fan.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So there's a lot going on, but netizens are a little confused on why she even did this.
Yeah, again, it's just weird version of Munchausen. Just she needs the attention. She's a psychopath, like I said. I know I've said it 50 times. You probably tired of hearing it. Maybe she's a psychopath and she did those murders. Or saying those accidents before and self-exit were actually murders. And it's maybe she's just a crazy psychopath serial killer and we don't even know. Maybe she's actually smarter than we think.
You know?
Maybe she created this whole story about Rudy as a cover-up for what she's actually been doing. She's making this be the bad thing that she's done in her life as a scapegoat to cover up all the other bad stuff. People are only going to focus on this weird Rudy stuff that she was doing and not just oh yeah, her ex died randomly, her brother died randomly, her child died randomly, her mom probably just died from just old age / dementia, so we can't really count her, but if she did die unnaturally, her grandma died, her mom died.
As this is unfolding, they said, "You got your son back after 8 years, just give it up. Don't be doing all of this. Just focus on your family. Who cares about the haters on TikTok?" And now Janie is suing one of her sisters for defamation and slander. Janie's siblings and her nephews and nieces have come forward and said, Janie needs to be brought in. They're not going to know what the hell she's really done if they don't bring her in and put pressure on her to talk. They're covering up what they knew years ago and they don't want to come forward. Another aunt said, "She hid this. That was awful and wrong. For what she did to him, that girl needs to go to jail." Rudy's other aunt, Sylvia, said, "I have not seen him since the day he went missing. Over the years, I even went out of state with Janie to help look for him. She had me out here in California thinking that someone had found someone that looked like Rudy in California, and I went all the way there with her." His aunt Patricia said, "How could you do that to your own kid? And I bet you it was Janie who threw him out there and beat him up by that church to be found." The family is also kind of...
That's what I said. I thought this was just part of her scheme to be okay, no one's giving me the attention that I want. Let me Like she said, beat him up, throw him out in the church, and see if I get my attention back as like the mom finally reunited with her son. Scenario. But again, he said that he ran away himself. He was able to escape. So we just need more testimony from him. Like, hello, cops. He said like she did this stuff.
Of upset with the police. They believe the police didn't do enough during the years to try and find him. I mean, they literally came face to face with Rudy during a traffic stop and didn't notice anything.
I mean, like, how would they though? He probably doesn't look anything like he did as a kid. So we don't know how his food intake was. So who knows how um, weak he could be at this point. So he might be super skinny. Maybe she's actually been feeding him well, so he could be even more rotund. Who knows?
On July 5th, Rudy was finally ready to talk. Except the only person that he was willing to talk to wasn't the police, but it was a local activist by the name of Quanell X.
Why? Why some random dude? Rudy, hello? Did your mom set you up for this? Is she still in your head?
Quanell was the leader of the new Black Panther movement in Houston. He is an activist advocate for victims of discrimination, police violence, wrongful termination, and more. He helps people get media coverage for their cases and negotiates with law enforcement on their behalf. He is not a lawyer. He is just an activist. And when I say just, I don't mean like just an activist, but you get it. He's not a lawyer. He's not a police officer. Now, Janie called him and asked if he would speak with her son, and Rudy also agreed to speak with him. He said,
Janie called?
yeah. And Quanell got the call out and he rushed over. Rudy didn't want to talk to the police, and he hadn't talked to the police since he had been, quote, found. Now, Quanell asked if Rudy minded if police sat in on their conversation. Rudy didn't have to talk to the police. He didn't have to answer their questions, but they would just be there to listen. And he agreed. Now, Janie was originally in that motel room, like that hotel room, while they're having this conversation. But every time he would try to talk, she would kind of like put pressure on him to shut up, or she would give him a look, or she would like put her hand on him. She was very hesitant.
Yeah, like I'm saying, I feel like she's the one who orchestrated this entire thing. She still weaseled her way back into his brain, and he's not telling the truth still. So I think we're just screwed either way. Like, he's too gone. Like, it's almost Stockholm, but like, can you be Stockholmed by your own parents? Like, can you even say that?
So they asked her to leave the room, and then she was like, okay, fine, but he needs me because he might have a panic attack. They're like, just leave the room. 5 minutes later, the door would burst open and she'd be like, is my baby okay? Is my baby doing okay? You can't force him to talk. He's gonna have a panic attack. And then she would burst in the room again 2 minutes later, like, Rudy, are you okay? Are they putting pressure on you? It seems like she's scared of him saying something. Eventually, they would get an hour alone with Rudy, and Quanell would come out of it, and there were news reporters all outside the hotel waiting for this moment. And he told them there was definitely abuse, no doubt about it. When he started telling me this, I couldn't believe it. I sat there trying to hold back my tears to be strong for him because I didn't want him to see that. The most sacred thing to a young man is his mama, but to hear what she did to her son, she's the damn devil. She convinced him to use a fake name and told him to really believe that was his name. And with a lot of drugs, it worked. This boy was abused big time with drugs, along with what I believe is abuse based on what he said to us. The boy was mentally tortured and physically. That was a house of hell. Apparently, Rudy told him that he was forced to, quote, play husband during his time in captivity.
Those words have a lot of weight to them. Oof.
Quanell told interviewers that Rudy had cut marks all over his forearms, like razor marks. He also had some on top of his chest, which were later identified as self-harm marks. Rudy told Quanell, I just want to be free. I'm tired of living like a slave. I feel like a slave. Quanell told the media, I want his mother to pay for the crimes that she's committed. Based on what that boy told me, I don't see why she's not in handcuffs right now. He was petrified but the minute that he was by himself, he calmed down. The minute that she left the room, he calmed down. I believe she was drugging the hell out of that kid. He said he didn't like getting into the bed with her, that he would try and sneak out of the bed, but she told him he had to be her husband.
I roll back. This is all messed up, but the big cameras here are here for a reason. But
the minute that he was by himself, he calmed down.
Like, who are these other people? Sure, you have the press here or whatever, or this guy's camera crew. Why do you have all these people with cameras, their phones out? Like, can y'all like chill? I
The
mean,
minute that
he's
she left
covered
the
in
room, he calmed down.
he's covered in stuff, right? This woman in the back, I noticed, she has her camera too. You can't really see it. You'll see it in like a second, but that's her camera there, or not her camera, her phone. You can see her phone there. Like her phone's out, trying to get like a shot up front. This is a microphone, so this doesn't count. This doesn't count. Because that's probably part of the news crew. There's a woman in front of this. We'll see.
I believe she was drugging the hell out of that kid. He said he
Yeah, her. This woman, she gets in the frame as well with, her camera out. Like, who are you people? Like, you're definitely not professional if you're using your cell phones. Like, get the heck out of here, man.
didn't like getting into the bed with her, that he would try and sneak out of the bed, but she told him
Oh, that's on the screen.
he had to be her husband. The police did not arrest Janie. I don't know why. Even if they can't use Rudy's story, which I think they can since there were officers present, they had enough evidence to charge her with something. I mean, she falsely led police to believe that Rudy was missing for 8 whole years. There must have
Are we gonna say it's the what you call it? The limits? I forget how to say that. Statute of limitation. That's what it's called. Statute of limitations on any of the stuff she's done, or like he's an adult, and because he's an adult, that they can't charge her with anything because he has his own free will to do whatever he wants. Like he's a grown man. If he wanted to get out of that room, he could have done it himself sooner, or he could have like fought back or something. I don't know, but I guess like it's his own mom, and yeah, I don't know. They could make any sort of excuse, I guess, not to.
have been some sort of obstruction of investigations, like anything like that. Obstruction of justice, nothing.
Yeah. Again, long list of things she's done. Potential
Rudy
things.
went home with his mom that very night. Yeah. And before they left, she actually pulled him aside and said, "Tell them you made it all up and that it was all a lie. If you tell them the truth, I will kill myself."
Just stacks of manipulation. I feel like that should be against the law, right? Telling someone to do something. That's blackmail, right? You can argue that's a form of blackmail. Like, do what I say or I'll exit.
She thought she was out of range from the media's mics, but she had no idea she was.
What? They got this on. They got this on camera, and nothing's gonna happen to her.
Being recorded.
No way.
I want to hear it.
Yeah.
She said, if you tell the truth.
Yeah. I'm gonna kill myself.
Wow.
Also, it's a year ago, so I'm surprised she actually said that instead of like a self-exit or what, or not.
Yeah. But she's still sticking by her story. She said
I wish we could have heard that to like actually get confirmation that that did play out that way.
that he had been missing for 8 years. The police held a press conference and they stated that it doesn't seem like as of now they will be pressing any charges against Janie. They said
Well, I'm assuming Rudy has to do it, and he's not going to because it's his mom, right?
that there is, in their belief, no evidence of SA, and being missing is not illegal. Being MIA is not illegal. I don't know why they can't charge her with like obstruction of justice or anything like that. But they also stated that they're underfunded and overworked or something. They made it a whole thing. Personally, I wonder, and this is a pure speculation on my part, this case got so much national attention. I wonder if they admitted that there was SA involved, it would become how did the police not check the house? How did they not get a search warrant? How did they not know during the traffic stop? I wonder if
Yeah, they could be trying to save face, like we've said before.
it would come back to the police.
Yeah, but
Yes.
the issue here is Rudy is still under the mom's abuse currently.
Yeah, so he is now with a family friend.
Okay, friend of a family about the family themselves.
But we don't know like how far her manipulation is, if she's gonna get him to talk to her again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's so traumatized and so scared, and
Yeah.
the mom got away with it. So how is he gonna get better?
Yeah. I do that's just my pure speculation. I feel like if they think that there is SA or if there's more investigation that uncovers something, it could lead to a, wow, the police is incompetent.
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to save face any way they can. So yeah, you could easily see that they're just trying to get this over with, so no one sees how bad they are.
Versus
They already
this.
look like a joke right now.
I know, yeah. I think so too, but here we are, right? July 11th, Rudy was finally ready to talk. His face and body were completely blurred in the interview footage. He confirmed that his mom made him stay hidden in the house the entire time. He said, I had free will to leave. She never handcuffed me, but it felt like brainwashing. Eventually, she would lock me in there mentally. She was my only parent. She was the only figure that I had after I lost my brother. When I lost my brother, I didn't have anybody to teach me how to live or even have confidence. He stated during his captivity he tried to keep busy. I would study religions and cultures online. I think we should stop putting labels on everything. There should be prosperity, but there's too much depression and anger in the world. He stated that there was no essay. He said, I remember I had to sleep with her, but it wasn't or anything like that. I would not lie about that because there are plenty of people who need help. The media likes to twist my words. I never said anything bad about her in that regard. It was just boundaries she would push. She would make me uncomfortable and I would say stop and she would ask me why. I didn't do anything wrong. So I would tell her okay and let her do whatever she had to do.
What the heck does that mean? You can't just say something like that, Rudy. That makes it sound like she's doing inappropriate things to you.
I was just a people pleaser. It was just her all the time, my mom. The interviewer tried to be more specific and they said, what about what Quanell said? About what? Just what he said about the relationship between you and your mom. Specifically, about the... See, that's what I'm saying about the media. I never said anything about intercourse. He didn't get into specifics like that. Yeah, she did want me to play husband, like cook and clean.
Okay.
We know that she wanted you to play the role of a father, but as far as assaults, did she ever? No, she didn't do anything like that. I do not need to go file for a rape kit or make a police report. It would never be like that. I did not have any reference or people to bounce off of as to understand what was a healthy thing or not. Maybe it was just not me understanding how people worked because she was the only person I ever understood. The interview will be linked in the show notes, but Rudy does speak a lot about it is kind of all over the place. He speaks about colors and algorithms and how they affect the psyche. He would say that the algorithm is what is controlling us through social media and colors. So if you see something white, you get distracted. You see something pink, you'll be reminded of someone who's trying to help you. And you're reminded of prosperity and love. And red reminds you of anger and hate. So he was saying that there's a lot of corruption in colors and things like that. So
Sure.
there's a lot that's going on. I think there was a portion about vaccines.
He just got lost in the sauce in that room. You can argue about the colors thing to some extent, like green for money or envy, red obviously like anger. Yeah, sure, colors hold meanings, and subconsciously we might see those meanings, but I think he is genuinely got lost in the conspiracy sauce when he was locked away for so long with nothing else to do.
I think that overall, even in the interview, it seems like he's this very incredibly kind, articulate, caring person, but also someone who seems to be suffering quite a bit. I think also maybe the comparison between his initial Facebook post when he was much younger and to now, it does seem like there is more trauma that's being expressed in the way that he communicates, is just what a lot of people speculate. Right now, he is staying with a family friend, and that is where the case is as of now.
Which is like, oof. Like, again, I don't know if anything happened to the mom. I'm going to look it up after like the video's done. There's still like a minute. Oh, less than a minute, but I will see if there's anything else.
Janie is still living at her house in Houston, and no charges have been filed.
Again, I think he has to charge. He has to file charges. If he doesn't, well, then nothing's going to happen, right? And again, it's his mom, so it's not like just by default you're not really going to do anything like that to your mom, right?
What a freaking story. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know what to say. It's just so ridiculous. This happened like not even really a month ago, so June 29th, but it started unraveling in July. The investigation is still kind of ongoing, they say, but I don't think we're going to get updates, but I will keep an eye out for you guys and let you know of any updates that come along. in the meantime, let me know your thoughts in the comments because, I mean, I saw this unravel online, I'm sure like many of you, and it was just so out there. Stay safe, and I will see you guys on Sunday for the.
Yeah, that's the end of that episode. Again, I'm going to look up and see if there anything happened since then. Alright, I really couldn't find anything, like any news if anything happened to the mom or not, though I think the mom is still out. She's not in trouble, even like, what, 2 years later? Though allegedly, I think like 6 days ago, the mom has pressed charges against someone or some business called Grizzy, and she's also said allegedly some unknown black man hit her in the back of the head at some point. So she's like going to court with some people. We'll see where that goes, but I mean, obviously we're probably not going to return to this story, but if you're so interested in that, she is getting up to some sort of shenanigans with like trying to go to court against people. I mean, she tried to get defamation on her sisters, right? So it makes sense that she would do that. So she's trying to take this other news station down. I think it's what the Grizzly is called, Grizzly Hood. I don't know. That doesn't sound like a person's name, so I'm assuming that's a company that apparently she like asked to get in on this from the get go, but now she's saying like they're doing like they're stalking her or something or harassing her. But yeah, she's things still crazy, but I guess we'll see if anything bad happens or if she ends up on the news for saying like she actually did all this bad stuff and now she's going to jail. Maybe we'll get a video in the future talking about her. Who knows? But yeah, crazy story. Unfortunate, but at least he's still alive, right? As damaged as he probably is now, but at least he's still around, and she didn't kill him or he didn't self-exit. Again, I'm still not convinced on those three dying. Like she didn't have her part in it, but again, it could have just been coincidence. But you never know, right? But I think we're just gonna go ahead and end there. Don't know what we're gonna do tomorrow. Probably just some Dark Asia with Megan, I would assume, or any little short thing. And then the day after that, maybe Stephanie. Again, let me know if I should start doing these videos live or the Stephanie Sue ones live. I'd have to like rearrange my schedule because that's like kind of like the current deciding factors as to why I'm not doing these live every time. But if I would be able to do that, then I would think about it. So let me know if you want to see these live, like the Stephanie Sue stream, the Into the Chinaverse stream. If you just want to see the Chinaverse stuff live all the time, again, let me know. Maybe I should do the poll to see what people have to say. It's just I was like, I don't feel like making the poll, but maybe I should. But you guys, thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers, or think about becoming a member, or subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And don't forget me with Zone now as well. And shout out to the members, EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Tune into the next episode. Like, subscribe, comment. Do the do. See ya.